You see me, you see him, my best friend. He hold me down like ankles fighting the waves. Not to my crime, yeah, I do time. Till I'm with you, I'll be counting the days. Yeah, ooh, been through so many things, but we always get through. Yeah, ooh, it ain't always perfect, but it's worth it. This is deeper than the surface. If I said I didn't love you, you and I know I've been frontin'. Wiped all my scars away like it was nothing. Took the parts of me I tried to hide and make them something, something. Like it was nothing. Ooh, so much, baby. Ooh, you know you drive me crazy. Ooh, you give me peace of mind. Ooh, let me tell you why. You make it easy, to take it easy. Feel so easy, easy to love. To take it easy, feel so easy, easy to love. I never thought that I would give it to you, but now I don't think it's the time, I won't do it. I think it's cause the way you talk to me, know how to say it without making me feel little. You're gracious even when you pop off on me. When you get done, I got a little something to drop off on you. Because you earned it with the time you took to put it that way. You got me liking to get put in my place. If I said I didn't love you, you and I know I've been frontin'. Wiped all my scars away like it was nothing. Took the parts of me I tried to hide and make them something, something. Like it was nothing. Ooh, so much, baby. Ooh, you know you drive me crazy. Ooh, you give me peace of mind. Ooh, let me tell you why. You make it easy, to take it easy. Feel so easy, easy to love. You make it easy, to take it easy. Feel so easy, easy to love. You make it easy. You make it easy.
Peace. This is the Toure Muhammad Show, and I'm your host.
I'm Linda Sissy Perez, your co-host of the show that talks to shakers and movers who have knowledge, experience, and resources to help you do for self. This is a solution-oriented show.
Come have a seat. No need to ask. As long as I have a bowl of bean soup, you got half.
Welcome everyone to the Toure Muhammad Show, and get prepared to hear about the greatest story ever told. Right about now, what I'm going to do is tell you all the things that we're into. Okay, once upon a hurry somewhere in the future, we didn't have to worry if somebody would shoot you. Excellence, yes y'all, we all that. Business, real estate, and actual facts. Actually, that's the tip of it. Financial gifts with it. Spiritual advancement, we're here to uplift. We're here to celebrate your success and give it back so everybody and their mama know where to shop at. You like that? I love that. We do too. You can change your condition when you change you. Yeah, so sit back, relax, and let your conscience be free. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce Brother Toure.
Me. Yeah. The beans is and my cell phone. No, it should be on my back. I'm gonna let him know I have to get off 10 minutes before.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. Peace. Assalamu alaikum. What's going on, brothers and sisters? What's going on, sissy?
Good morning to everyone. It's a beautiful Thursday. I'm so excited for this type of weather, Toure.
That's me too. Look at you. You got your headphones on today, man. Look at you.
Toure, where you been? I've been having these headphones on for about 2 weeks now.
I noticed them last week. I just forgot to say something. Huh?
That's that That's the age affecting you right now.
Okay, don't start. Don't start. I got ammunition. I got ammunition, so don't start.
Look, I can't talk, right? All this
Huh?
age. God.
What you say?
I said I can't talk though. But no, welcome to Toure Muhammad Show, everyone. It's a beautiful
Yep. What's
day.
going on, family? How's everybody doing? I hope y'all are well. Shout out to everybody who's tuning in. We got a great show ahead of us today, and we appreciate you all, man, for being a part of this experience.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
Um,
hi, go ahead.
go
What you
ahead.
about to say?
No, go ahead, Toure.
I was just going to say that as people come on, we encourage you to like, share, and tell a friend to tell a friend that the Toure Muhammad Show is on. We have some great information. We got a few announcements, and we are going to be talking about something very, very important in our community. We're going to be talking about adoptions, and we're going to be talking about it really from the grassroots way, the old school way, and the more formal way. So, man, tell a friend and tell a friend to get on today's show so we can have this conversation. We got a lot of top news to talk about as well. But the first thing we want to highlight, it's becoming a regular where first thing we talk about is what's going on at the taco bar. And we had some great people to come through and enjoy some tacos recently. So what was that experience like for you serving for that big group? Ron was in the building. Mary Q was in the building.
Yes.
Sadiq was in the building.
Times.
Ron, what you think about those tacos, man?
I love them. I can't wait till next month when I'm off of April, Animal Free April.
So you can try that shrimp and that salmon.
I'm not doing
That
that
chicken.
chicken made too, y'all.
Sadiq trying to trick us, man. He's trying to get us to go
Sissy,
another month.
I need those shrimp tacos.
But
Man, they loved them.
Sadiq, of course, he's unique and he's special to our group and our family. So Sadiq brought his own vegan shrimps in, and
I don't
and
think
vegan
Ron talking
chicken.
about those. I don't think Ron
Hold
talking about
on.
those.
So that could be an option,
Potatoes.
Ron. It's
Huh?
the vegan shrimp.
The vegan shrimp.
So we had created that for Sadiq's specialty order, just to try it out for
I
Sissy.
didn't even know you had that, sissy.
Yeah, it was just
No,
to try it
Sadiq
out.
brought it. Sadiq brought it with
Sadiq
him.
brought it and asked me to cook it and prepare it. So it was different. It was easy to like season the way we would season our regular shrimp. It's just we have to look at the cost effect and see if we can buy it in bulk. So we got to see maybe where Surf Up maybe get their bulk of vegan shrimp from, plant-based shrimp from.
Cause Surf Up are taking it fried up for you.
Yeah, and we do grill. So and we're putting it on the taco and they don't. So it's a difference. But other than that, Tori, the group turned out like it was a beautiful to see people inside the Woodlawn, to see people dining in our establishments and to see our people to support another black owned business in our community. That was so dope on Saturday to see that. And
Yes.
people were enjoying themselves. So we did a courtesy guacamole, which is on our catering menu. So we've been asked to put that on our menu permanently. So and we were gonna do it. It's just the spacing or the timing. But now that we have our little home right here, that I'm comfortable, that I have a system, that we will be putting that on for our summer menu. So we're going to be adding new tacos to Sissy's Taco Bar. So we're going to be adding the sweet potato and the cauliflower taco for our vegan options of healthy eating style. And I tell people our tacos have an adult taste, a unique taste. It's a different taste. So we're bringing something new to our community, but still something familiar.
Man, what you talking about adult taste? Your nephews love the tacos too.
They do, but you have to have, I guess, a unique.
They
palate.
got you've trained them, so they have a little more of a mature palate anyway. They do.
They do because I've never really, I really don't give my kids like McDonald's and Burger King or fast food. It's either home cooked or something similar to home cooked or a 5-star, dining, you should say. So I do expose my kids, and I think that's the thing that we should all be exposed when
children?
we travel. Yes, my children, Toure, not my goats. So it's important that as people or as parents, that we expose our children at an early age. And it was amazing,
Oh, they go right
Toure.
behind you.
It was yeah. The other one said his back hurts. I said, I wonder where he gets that from.
Right,
My
right. And his
back
feet.
hurts.
And his
Yeah,
feet.
and his feet. We did all that shopping yesterday. But it's amazing to see Tavius to be in fourth grade running my PO system, multitasking so fast. You know, he's not moving like a turtle. He gets the restaurant. Restaurant is fast paced. You can't move like you at home cooking for your family. It's a fast pace. So to
Look,
see Tavius.
you threw me on that cashier, and I had to ask him a couple of questions. How you do this? How you do that part? He went right to it.
And so it's amazing how Toure, like the guy said, I'm here to do more than just sell tacos. And I am. And I believe my calling is to serve his community. So if it's through tacos, me talking to people, me interacting, it's showing. But the fruits that I'm putting right here on 79th, even to have my children inside of here working, it blew a 15 and a 16-year-old that my son was able to operate. She's like, man, he's smart. He knows how to get back change. He's operating the P. He's running to make smoothie. He's running back there to make the rice and the beans. And she was like, my 11-year-old don't even know, brother don't know how to add. So it's just amazing. But it starts from our home. It starts with us teaching our children first. And so, and it's really key important. And it was a chef that was in. He's like, man, you're doing an excellent job with your children and teaching your young men about business at an early age. And I feel proud, but it's like, this is what we're here for, is to teach.
That's right. That's right. Hey, quick
Oh.
sidebar. Sabrina, I see your message, and my apologies for not sending you back a note, but you can walk in. Sabrina's the one who won the challenge last week for the Sean Michelle's homemade ice cream. Sabrina, all you have to do is put your arms back and walk like George Jefferson and walk right up in the Sean Michelle's homemade ice cream and tell them your name. Tell them you won the challenge on the Toure Muhammad show on What's in It for the Black People Media, and they got you. They got you. They're going to take care of you. And we already sent you. No, we sent them. We sent them her name, and we sent them Edward Steve name. So those are only two. Now you can walk in like that, but you're not gonna get some free ice cream for it.
I'm just making sure you clear that up for the people.
Hey, I'm getting it. Hey, I was getting there. So I want somebody. They try it. So somebody else try to do it. I want them to walk in there and try it. They're not gonna get the free ice cream, but since they're in there, they might as well buy some. But Absolutely. Yeah, walk on in there and let them know. Just give them your name, Sabrina. We got you, and thank you for participating. I told y'all, man, you knew every location from the beginning stages. So we appreciate you. Well, you knew two of them. You mentioned two of them. But listen, Linda, you're talking about your nephews / sons. You're talking about your nephews. And you haven't mentioned Savannah yet because we haven't gotten to that part of the conversation. But today's theme, today's topic, if you will, because of our first guest, is about family and about technically the word adoption, right? And I say technically because our community has a history of taking in each other and looking out for each other, right? And making sure that the extended family is good. So, you have for the lack of a better way to describe it, you have a Bernie Mac story because Bernie Mac took in his family, right? So talk about taking in your nephews and your niece, which is they're your children. You're taking care of them as they are your own.
So you just want me to speak on it right now?
Yeah, just talk about how that happened and how you came. And sometimes people who know you may hear you call them nephews. Sometimes they hear you call them sons. And yeah, so clear up all that confusion on how they have become under your care.
Okay, and that's hard too because I don't want to step on my brother's toes either.
Yes.
So it's like my nephews, but then at the same time they want to call me mom and they want me to recognize them as my son. So it's like I'm doing what's best in the interest for my boys, because I am that caretaker. I am the one that's with them daily. They've been with me for over almost 5 years now. So I think I do earn the title, and we don't need a piece of paper to show who I am to them. And I'm explaining that to them because I do have their younger sister in my care now. And we had her ever since she was about 6 months. So she's been in my care since 6 months, and we're going through the adoption stage. And so, of course, they were feeling a certain way, like why we can't get adopted, and she's getting adopted. It's just a whole DCFS system, which is crap to me, especially from Utah. Utah really needs to work on their system, supporting people that take in children, giving them that support. They don't do anything. So, of course, I didn't want to lose my nephews into the system. When I heard that they were in the system, it took me about 4 days to locate them. And within that 4 days to locate my nephews, they already had them up for adoption. I'm like, damn, you wasn't gonna even reach out to family, try to find family, but it was me, like constantly all night. And it was like the Holy Spirit kept leading me to different phone numbers to keep calling, keep calling. I got on the next flight and I was there for that court appearance to let them know I'm here to step up to take my three nephews in. And it was my first time actually meeting them in person, but I always talked to them over the phone. But I didn't want them to be separated like me and my brothers, because that took place with me and my siblings where we got separated. And it was at the age of 12 and 13 where we got separated. So for the state to say you're not going to get separated or you guys are going to be as one, it's a lie. So I don't believe in the system, and I don't have no faith in that type of system. So I was not going to have them separated. I want to let them know they have family, they have someone that loves them, and that I will be there for them. And on my situation, and I think I have so much passion for it, Tori. A lot of people don't know this about it because I don't talk about it. When it was for my family to step up to get us, they refused to get us because it was three of us, too many, too much. Of course, my grandmother stepped up, but she got almost crucified by her own children. Why are you taking in three kids that's not yours? Too much on you. So it's real close to me, because no one really fought for us growing up. It was like, oh, that's, my mom's name is Linda. That's Linda's children. They'll be all right. I didn't want that to happen. And it affected me and my brothers, our relationship to this day of that time away from each other. So I wanted them to know each other and to let them know that they have family. No matter what the situation, no matter what the storm comes, things could be greater, especially my oldest, that's 11. Actually, he just made 12. Sorry. If he heard me say that, he'll be flipping around here right now. But he's 12. And when I first got him, he missed the whole first year of first grade. So he has an IPE. He was behind. It was my job to work with him. The boy is a genius now. And I told him he has a testimony. And no matter what comes our way, it's a tool to make us stronger. And sometimes people play the victim so much that I'm the victim. Oh, my childhood was this. Use that as a tool and empower yourself and show people that you can overcome anything. And that's what I want these three young men in my house to understand. It doesn't matter what your childhood or what laid out. It's the things that how he put you with someone to give you the lessons and teach you what you need to guide you through your journey. And things happen for a reason. And that's how I had to look at my life. I was taken from my parents for a reason. I'm kind of glad. I was taken away from my grandmother for a reason. I was kind of glad, because look at the people that he put around me and surrounded me with a village of people, but people to deposit information or deposit what they saw in me. I had people put me in school at an early age. I had people saw me with the talent of childcare at the age of 12, take me around different centers. So those people invested in me, and it's my turn to give it back. It's my opportunity to give it back to those around me, especially my own family, to overcome those obstacles in our life. So I look at my journey as a blessing and not a curse or not a disappointment, but he took me from one situation to another because I needed to go through that part of the journey, and it made me who I am and my character, who I am today, Toure. And that's why I have a passion when it comes to our children. That's why I have a passion when it comes to our community of giving back, giving information, because it was given to me. And so it's my way of paying it forward in a different way.
Man, that's beautiful. And I think it's so important for you to do what you're doing. And you made me reflect on something, the idea of people being a victim. It's people that claim being a victim when their childhood was rough, and then you have people who claim to be a victim when their childhood was too good. Man, I didn't have to work for anything. Man, my parents gave me everything, right? So it's just an example of, if you want to be a victim, you can doesn't matter what you went through, you can use it as a crutch, or as you said, use it as a tool for inspiration. So we
Absolutely.
appreciate that you have done. And look, everybody, it sometimes it's real extensive situations. Sometimes it's different things that happen in the moment, and tragedies and emergencies that causes us to be in a position where we may not be able to care for our children. That's that's not the point is not to judge those that are going through it, but to make sure that those children, right? We judge a nation by how they take care of their women and children. And so our children are at a disadvantage because they already are stigmatized because they're black. And there's the idea that they're unwanted. And then they have to go through whatever challenge that is they're going through in life of not having their parents there. So, again, I applaud you for that. And we're going to keep this theme going as we bring on our next guest in a little while and talk about the importance of taking care of the children. Man, Shaka
Our
Strong,
children is our future, Torre,
come
and
on.
we really have to deposit into our children. Even Sissy Sacco Bar is coming up with a reward program for our children, and it's a reading book reward program. So we're looking to partner with CPS at that level too with them. But our goal is to create where they come in, they receive a book from me, they go home and read it, and they come back and they get a small quiz from me. So I know that they read the book, and they get free tacos. So it's a way, and it's bringing that village back where we're worried about our children as one, and not just worried about my children. I don't care about the next child if they learn or not. And it's a lack of reading in our community, especially with our young black males. So it's like, let me deposit, let me create something, not just here to sell tacos. Of course, it makes money or it has a benefit, but I tell people, I'm upside down right now, Sissy Taco Bar. And then people know in restaurant, it takes 3, 4 years before you even get out that hole. So my goal is to deposit into our children while I'm operating, sitting up, or setting up Sissy Taco Bar. But our thing is to come up by September is to have a reading program for our children. And of course, I've been buying books. So if people want to donate book about our culture for all grade levels, we'll take books. As long as they're in good condition, we'll take new books. But that's our vision and that's our goal is to get a reading program started with Sissy Taco Bar as well.
Man, that's absolutely beautiful. Keep it going, keep it going, keep the tacos flowing, keep the book program. And of course, man, whatever we can do, we're here to assist and support. Brothers and sisters, you're listening to the Toure Muhammad Show. We're talking about taking in family and making sure family is secure. If you have any experience, man, if you from either end, you got taken in or you have taken someone in, whether it's formally, or whether you looking out for a cousin, a nephew, or something like that, or whether you've done it through foster care or anything, man, share in the comments if you want to talk about it, if you want to highlight your experience. This is something as we talk about Black Lives Matter. This is one of those core things. We absolutely know that people outside of our community should respect our lives and they should matter. But we also have to take some responsibility as well and look at how we can make sure that we are sending the right message to our community, to our children, that their lives matter.
Their lives matters totally, Tori, and it's so hard because like when you hear things like what you see, it's true, it's real, it's close to home, and it brings tears or chills to my body every time I see it or hear it, and that's why I don't watch news a lot. Um, but you're absolutely right, and we have to teach and go about it the right way. And I think there was a situation that took place. We were up north, and we were in the store shopping for Sissy Taco Bar, and a lady just rudely did something to my child. And I told him to speak up when someone disrespects you. And it's how you deliver your message, but don't let no one feel or intimidate you or bully you because who they are and what they look like. And I had to, and one lady was like, I appreciate you taking that time in that moment right there to explain that to him. It's my job. I'm his first teacher, but I have to. And that's why I call my children, sir, can you do this? Sir, can you do that? So they can understand when they get older, people are going to respect you and who you are. You're going to walk in authority as a young black man, period.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And man, we got to keep it going. We have to extend it, like I'm saying, to everyone, and look out for the entire village. We have to have that village back. And it starts first with people showing that they care, people showing that they are taking responsibility for making our communities better, and then the village can come back. Right now, we get out of pocket when someone says something to our children because they're doing it in a nasty way. They're doing it in an ugly way with no love there. So of course,
Absolutely.
Mama Lion jumps up and out then. And everyone who is observing Ramadan, you made me think about Ramadan when I saw you take that drink. Ramadan Mubarak to all my Muslim community and family who may be tuning in. This is the holy month of Ramadan, and we're striving to not eat or drink during the daylight hours. And so it's enjoyable to live vicariously through others as they sip on something. As I wait till the sun goes down tonight. But it is a wonderful thing, a great level of discipline. And if anybody wants to know more about it, man, just ask, just let us know. You know, it's an incredible
Well,
thing.
Torre, I'm still waiting on a phone call.
Yes, so we'll talk about that offline, and I'll get on top of that, and so we'll make sure that happens. And man, so look, we got a great guest coming up, but before we get her online to talk about the whole idea of adoptions and the importance and value in it, she's going to talk about her journey. But first, we want to give some real quick announcements. We already talked about the winners and how they can access their thing, but I want to make sure people know about the Moxie. It's a co-working space. It's in the South Loop, and you can get a free day pass to check it out, see the environment. We know we're still breaking out of the COVID restrictions, and you may have clients that you need to meet somewhere. And hey, McDonald's and other, the Starbucks, those places where you normally would meet someone is not available right now. You don't want to bring them to your home. So if you want to make sure you keep that professionalism, it may be time to get that co-working space as everything else opens up. And so in the South Loop, you can check out Moxie. Go to their website, Moxie, MOXE, Chicago.com, and you can sign up for the free pass. Tell me you heard about on the Toure Muhammad show. And also make sure you check out Overflow Coffee. So this is a Black-owned co-working space and coffee spot. So check them out and enjoy the experience. And if it's your birthday today, you can check out Brown Sugar Bakery. Stop by there and get you a cupcake. If it's your birthday, you can get
And
one.
it's beautiful out today to stop at Brown Sugar Bakery too. Even if it's not your birthday, and they got the little pods outside. What's that? The boardwalk, so you can enjoy that. It's beautiful out. Make sure you guys come out and support. Walk down 79 Sissy Taco Bar. You got Dan Soul Food, Torre. What promotions do Dan have this week, Torre?
Well, Dan has their $6 holla, right? You can get a baked leg and thigh, 2 sides, and a cornbread muffin for $6. If you got a big family, boy, you know that can go over very well. You can feed you can feed 5-6 people for less than $50 at Dan's Soul Food and Cafe. So they're open from 10:30 to 8 p.m. daily. Call them at 773-737-6695 for more info. That's 773
737.
737-6695. And they're located right there on 79th and Maplewood. That's 2523 West 79th Street. So check out our people over there doing great things and serving up some good food.
Awesome, awesome. And then they
Listen,
can
you
text
give away free tacos too, right? If people do something.
Well, two things that they do. Well, one, if you follow me on Facebook, you'll know that we have, if you check in, come purchase tacos at Sissy Taco Bar, take a picture and tag us, you can possibly win a dinner for two. So we have that promotion going on, and we got that promotion going on until the end of April, and then we'll announce who receives the dinner for two. Also, Tori, we have if they text 844-773-8392, and they text the word Sissy's Taco Bar, and that's SISSYSTACOS. Make sure you put the S on both of the words. And then you guys can receive a free taco as well from
That's right.
Sissy's Taco Bar.
All right, listen, we're going to go to a quick break and we're going to come back with our guest. I hope you are as excited as we are. So share. Tell a friend to tell a friend that the Toure Muhammad Show is on, and we're going to be talking to a dynamic black woman who has been doing great things in the community for many, many years. And Linda, guess
That's what's
what?
up.
Guess
What?
what? It always happens, man. She has some Roseland roots.
Man,
She has some
we've been having
Roseland roots.
strong
So
women from Roseland.
that's right. So we're going to be right back with more of the Toure Muhammad Show, and we'll be back with our first guest.
WIIFTBPM.
If I tell them to blow, I keep that metal close. That's how we ride in Chicago.
Alderman Lopez, welcome back to the Maze Jackson Show. The mayor has a very peculiar way she's dealing with this, and I'm trying to understand, why does it seem like we're handling this with kid gloves?
The reason that she's not going after the root cause, which is gangs, the reason she's not calling out the silent enablers, as I tweeted out the other day, is because those are many of the same people that she relied on to get elected. I'm talking about the not-for-profits, those that reach out for grants and try to be the intermediaries in a community to try and bridge some of these anti-violence groups, things of that nature. These organizations that say they're trying to build bridges oftentimes are the ones that are enabling the gang lifestyle and allowing it to go unchecked and not holding accountable the individuals causing the violence in the neighborhoods. Those same partners, which she funds, which she relies on, were unceremoniously all pimping themselves out at a press conference.
Ooh.
Saying nobody said a word about gangs, but what they did say is that we need more money for the programs that we offer to help stop the violence. And clearly for more money to go to organizations that are working against the residents of the city of Chicago.
Alderman, how did y'all approve $37 million to go to one ward for violence prevention? $37 million? I don't think there's been a $37 million investment in anything black.
When these amendments to the budget and when these programs come before us, and I've asked the last time that these were proposed by the administration, what metrics are we using to ensure that everyone with their hand out was not still enabling gangbangers in the middle of the night? And oftentimes have intervened on behalf of gangbangers, particularly in the Latino community. When you see in other communities, like the black community, when you start doling out contracts to, say, Metropolitan Family Services, and now they're responsible for doling out to organizations to come into neighborhoods like, for example, West Englewood, contract out to organizations that have no connection to a community, build no bridges to a neighborhood, but get $300,000 to stop violence.
The most dangerous show in the morning.
Yeah, man. Ideas. It's ideas, man. You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind me. And it's so clear to see that you wanna be free. You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind you. It's so clear to see that you wanna be free. Let's go. Standing my ground, I can't mess around now. It's like my time is in a bottle, captured by your love. Yeah. Now I know women's got this thing going on. We can't stay around so long, but I wanna come correct. Baby, get your foot off my neck. You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind thee. Understand clearly, yeah, that you wanna be free. It's the time that you spend making me think within. Is the trust still beginning? Fade away from beginning of the day. I can see you trembling times, and I can see you wondering mind. Is it me considered? Is you that's with it? See, you don't have to find me.
All right. We are back. The Toure Muhammad Show. The train is still running, baby. And we are so excited for our next guest. Brothers and sisters, this is Toure Muhammad. We I'm here with Linda Perez, Linda Sissy Perez, owner of Sissy's Taco Bar, and we're gonna talk to a wonderful young lady. I met her a few years ago, and she's gonna talk about her adoption experience. She's going to talk about her adoption experience. She has some great things coming up that we're going to get into. But first, I want to acknowledge her professionalism, her business acumen. She has been shaking and moving in Chicago for a few years now. She is the founder and president of Brown Farmer Media Group. It's a full-service Chicago-based communications firm, and some of the great people we've had on this show is because of her. And she established that in 2014, and she started in media at NBC. She was at WGN, but I'm letting her get into her story. But I just want you to know that, as we always say, we bring you incredible shakers and movers to the Toure Muhammad Show. And she is no exception. We have Deborah Olivia Farmer here on the Toure Muhammad Show.
Hey, good afternoon. How are you guys?
Good. Go good.
Fantastic. Man,
before we get started, hold on, Toure.
Yes.
I see the purple. I see we got something in common. It's the purple in the background, and then I got that same picture of the elephant. I'm sorry.
Okay, yes.
Sure do.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, we'll talk about why she got the elephant behind her. I suspect, I have a sneaky suspicion.
You got a sneaky suspicion there, huh?
Yeah, it goes with that red too that she got on, Linda.
Right.
Man, the sororities, man, is the black woman is all over the world, boy. From the White House to the Black House here at Wakanda land.
That's right.
Yep. So talk to us. First of all, we appreciate you coming on the show. And this is different because you're usually getting guests on my show, and now you are the guest on the show.
Look at here. The roles have reversed, right? So now I'm in the hot seat, right?
That's right. Yeah. That's right. And that's how it actually started with me always trying to connect with you to get people on when I was working for SEIU or Congressman Rush. And I mean, that's why you got to always treat people right, because you never know what the circles and what the happenings are going to be next.
Absolutely. You know, we go way back. You're being very gracious by saying just a few years. You know, I knew you from my WGN days. I mean, I worked at WGN in the late 90s and then went over to NBC in 2006. So I've known you for quite some time. So thank you very much. First off, I want to say I'm so excited to be in the hot seat to talk about this very important topic about adoption. So I really appreciate you, and nice to meet you, Linda. Thank you very much for having me on the show.
Yeah. You remember you met Linda at WVON a few years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, we were doing something together. We were both on the same show at one time.
Okay, fantastic. Well, nice to see you again, Linda.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same here.
So go ahead, Linda.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
Sure.
And how did you get into the media?
Sure. So I am born and raised south side of Chicago. I actually was born at Jackson Park Hospital, so I want to make certain that I rep, the southeast side. I did grow up in the Roseland community. I know that was one of the things that you all mentioned right off the top. So very proud of my Chicago roots. In my childhood years, lived on the south side, but then we moved to Riverdale, where actually I grew up in my teenage years. Okay. And so growing up in Riverdale, I went to General George S. Patton Grammar School and then went on to Thornton Township High School. And so to answer your question, how I got into the media, we had a radio and television program in high school that I fell in love with the media industry. Having that hands-on experience in high school, I went on to Lewis University, where I majored in radio and television broadcasting. So 4 years at Lewis, immediately after graduation, I started working at WGN Television, where I worked for close to 12 years. After leaving WGN, I went on to NBC5, where I served as the face of the station, sort of the bridge, if you will, between the station and the community. And so again, a lot of my work is media, but my heart is commitment to community. And so, as mentioned in the bio, I started my communications firm in 2014, where we work with clients to elevate their brands. So it's really cool to actually be on the other side of the camera here, where I'm usually, prepping clients for media interviews, and now I'm in the position to respond to your questions. So thank you.
Awesome. That is beautiful.
It
Thank
Got a
you.
question,
is.
Toure?
Yes, absolutely. So tell us about, I don't know if you heard some of the conversation with Linda, but this is something dear to her because she has taken in her nephews and her niece. So just
Yes.
start talking about your journey to Joshua. I've listened to an interview, and you mentioned how this was something you always wanted to do, but talk about Joshua and what he means to you.
Sure. So, Linda, first off, I commend you for opening up your home and your heart to family. That's actually where it started. Most people, when they think about adoption in the process that I went through, it was formal by way of the legal system, right? But we've been adopting family members since the beginning of time. And so I commend you for doing that. When you think about, growing up, you may have had a cousin that lived with you. There was no legal adoption, but that, family member was adopted into your home through love. And so my process actually began in the 90s when I was at WGN. I had connected with an organization called UCAN. And so through the UCAN organization, I started mentoring a young lady that was actually in foster care. And so that's where I learned about the foster care system through my opportunity to mentor her. It really started as a 1-year commitment where I was literally to just help her with her homework on the weekends. And I adopted her into my family. So that was, I'm sorry?
That's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah. So again, that's how I actually found out about foster care. So I knew, in the 90s that I wanted to foster a child and one day to adopt a child. And so to my process to Joshua, I got married later in life. And in that, I was hoping to have biological children. That did not happen for me, but I always knew that I wanted to foster a child and one day adopt a child. So that's how I came to get Joshua into my life. We went through an agency called One Hope United, where Joshua was a sibling of 2 other kids that were in foster care. So by the time Joshua was born, they knew, because of his unfortunate family situation with his siblings, that he was not to be reunited with his bio family, because that is really the ultimate goal of foster care, is to reunite the child with their original family. But Joshua, thankfully was blessed enough to come immediately into our home. We fostered him for a year and then adopted him after a year of going through the system of getting his rights of his dad terminated.
Excellent, excellent. And so you talked a little bit about the foster care program.
Sure.
Do people get into foster care thinking that they will adopt? Talk about the differences between adoption and foster care a little bit more.
Yeah, that's actually a very good question. And the reason that I am an advocate for fostering to adopt a child, if there is no guarantee, as I stated a moment ago, the objective of foster care is to reunite the child with their biological family. That does not always happen. So for people that are in a position to foster a child, I was blessed enough to be able to adopt a child that I fostered. It doesn't always happen that way. So I don't want to mislead anyone to think that if they go into the foster care system, that they'll get a child and that child will one day be adopted by them. So that is the initial process. The difference there is with outright adoption or private adoption, you don't have that issue of the reunification of putting the child back into their biological family. So with Joshua, again, he was in foster care, and then we adopted him after having his parental rights of his bio dad terminated.
And also, I want to kind of jump in too with this part with the foster parent and adoption because I was a foster parent, and my goal was before I got my nephews was to adopt. And I went through child service, the person that owns Wendy's, because Wendy's, the restaurant, she was
Yes,
foster person in adoption.
yes. The
So
Dave Thomas Foundation is an organization. They're really big into that, for sure.
yes. And so my thing is when I was looking into Catholic charity for adoption, when I was told 50,000, 70,000 is being paid to the birth mom for a hospital, but I'm like, if she can't afford it, my mind at 27 was like, she can't afford it, she's on public assistance, they pay for that. So I was like, you know what? I'll go through my foster care license. I'll go through the adoption where the state can pick up my adoption fees because that can kind of eliminate that. And so that was my reason too to go through the foster care if I receive a child and if they go for adoption, then I know they can cover it. And that's a big burden financially to help an individual, especially when they want to do something good or positive of adoption. Um, there's so many people out, and again, my other reason becoming a foster parent is because our teenagers wasn't getting foster care as much compared to the younger generation of the younger children. So our 15, our 13-year-olds would kind of get left into group homes or transitional living. So they don't get those opportunities as much as the younger of infants to the age of 8, something like that. Go ahead.
You're spot on with that. And if we look at, sadly, the incident that just happened where the young lady was gunned down by the police officer, she was in a foster group home, right? And sadly, those children are of the teenage age, and there are a lot of incidents where there's violence and things of that happens. And so, as we saw, just kind of, play out in the media recently, where her life was taken. And so, yes, when you think about the ages, I mean, when you look at the stats around adoption, traditionally there are more boys in foster care than there are girls, 1 to 2 boys. When you look at the numbers, there are over 400,000 children in the United States that are in the foster care system.
Absolutely.
And so when you look at it and then you break it down by age, I mean, oftentimes they are much older because traditionally when people want to foster a child, they want a child. They don't want a teenager. And so the reason, honestly, just to kind of get back to why I'm telling this story is I want to first off get rid of the insensitivity around adoption and look at it as an opportunity for inspiration. Because really people are so self-absorbed where they say, oh my goodness, I want my child. And I was one of them, okay? Because I wanted a girl. I was very clear. I wanted a girl. I had my room already painted. But they kept calling me with boys because there are more boys in the system. And so I had to surrender to my ego of wanting a girl, and I had to take a boy. Not had to take, but I chose a boy. And so you really just have to be one to really remove ego from the system, from your process, and really look at it for what this is. This is an opportunity to love a child, to receive love. And that is even the journey to Joshua, is finding love through Joshua and through God's grace.
Absolutely. And you're right on that. We do, because I was the same way. I wanted a little girl. I wanted an infant. So now that I got my niece, I was like, oh, look how things happen. But I took in the boys. Now here comes my baby girl that I always wanted. And people always
that's what God will do. If you surrender to him, he'll give you your desires.
He will. And I tell people, because people, I have one biological, he's 23. And so people always ask me, why you have no more kids? I'm like, there's so many kids out here that needs homes. My doors are open, but me doing daycare for so many years as well, my house has been a shelter. Not legally, but it's resolving girls that I've dealt with in daycare when they were younger. Parents kicked them out at the age of 12, 13, 15, 16, pregnant at a teenager. They've come to my home, but it's me becoming a mentor to them at that time now. And I look at one, for an example, she's a school teacher. She's making it, and I didn't give up on her, but she had that village where your mom gave, let me deal with you right now. And I was able to mentor her, guide her. She got her life together. She got her GED. She went to college. People thought she was going to be a statistic with 2 children at the age of 18. No, she broke it. But just because we make mistakes, we don't have to bash them for it. Just embrace them and love them and show them that there's a way out of it. But you're absolutely right. If we surrender to him, he'll give us everything that we want and much more.
We're talking a different angle of Black Lives Matter here on the Toure Muhammad Show. The theme I put out there was Black Lives Matter, adopt a child, change the world. And that's really the theme and motto I took from Deborah and her, some of the materials that she sent over here to us. And I want to read this quick stat. There are 16,840 children in foster care in the state of Illinois as of 2018. This was the last report. This is the 2020 report from the Children's Defense Fund, their fact sheet when they talk about Illinois. So there are tons of opportunities here in the city of Chicago. And so talk a little bit about obviously, Deborah, you're talking about, and Linda, you both are talking about your heart and how you gave and how your mind and your spirit was open. But I want, if both of y'all can talk about it, talk about what you've gotten in return from the children, if you will, right? Talk a little bit about that.
Yes, I will jump in on that first. The biggest piece really to the end of the book, it is a journey to love. Again, we tend to, most cases, not everyone, but lie in a place of fear. So when I think about even going through this process, I had so many people that came to me to say, oh my God, I've always wanted to do this. I've always wanted to adopt. And so then I give them, the side eye and say, well, then why are you not doing it? Right. And it's because, and then they come up with more excuses than anyone going to jail. Bottom line. And it's fear. That's fear-based. And so really, what I have received with Joshua, to answer your question, is love, like unlimitless love. The way that he says, he puts his hand on my heart and he says, Mommy, I love your heart. What we are missing today is love. At the pure. That's it. I mean, when you think about violence, you think about all this. We're living in a state of trauma right now, watching the news. And I come from this space. I'm in the media. I get it. But when you look at the trauma that we're experiencing, you look at all of it is fear-based. Let's just add some more love to the equation. And so I just challenge, and the reason, again, I'm telling this story is to challenge people to put your ego to the side, open up your space, your heart, your home, and love on a child and bring a child into your home.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And love is the key in embracing our children. And they also have a program, because someone tried to get me to do the program, but it was like so much with my nephews all coming in. I had to put things on pause. But also with the juvenile detention, they have a program. Instead of locking them up in a juvenile detention, if you open your homes to these kids for those 3 months of their time, it's like you can bring them in and mentor them at the same time. And I thought that was a great system, instead of them getting locked up in juvenile detention, especially for their first offense or second offense. That's real small. They just need someone to direct them, guide them, love them, and just teach, because that's all our children look for. Our children just look for someone to embrace them, love, and teach. And they love structure. Mm-hmm. You'll be amazed how children react to structure and the routine of you being firm with them. Not being harsh and abusive and aggressive, but being firm and giving them that foundation that they need. They actually receive it. But love is the key in our community, and we have gotten away from that. And even with Sissy Taco Bar, it's loving our customers, it's loving our community. Just speaking to someone makes a big difference, and asking them, how was your day?
Yes.
You don't understand how far that goes with people. How was your day? Checking in with a person, because this mental condition is real in our community. And we have to get back to the basics, and love is one.
Yeah, no, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I mean, when I think about just getting back to a sense of community, we just came from a really, and we're still in it. We're not out of the pandemic. So let's not, lose sight of that. The trauma of the isolation that some people felt, being alone, thinking about even those children that were in the system and possibly in an abusive home, they couldn't get out because the systems were closed down. So there were so many things that we're, sort of dealing with. And I think at the core of it all is if we could just really just get back to the basics of community. We did this. This is what we did as a people. You sent family members to live with loved ones if you couldn't take care of them. So again, I'm not trying to browbeat people into adoption. We're really just wanting them to just think about options of loving better, thinking about options of fostering possibly. There's also an organization called CASA, which is Court Appointed Special Advocates. So even if you don't want to foster a child, if you don't want to adopt a child, you can be an advocate for a child that's in the system. There's so much that we can do to help.
Absolutely. I love it. And it's funny that you said you can, because I'm familiar with you can as well. And I used to try to go back and teach and with the young girls that's in transitional living, those conversations to teach them about budgeting, saving, finance, it goes far, even parenting, because they're young mothers at the same time. So you can is a dope program too, but it's like us going back and giving back. And giving back, not looking for something really in return, but giving back from our hearts.
I just think we are so self-absorbed. I think that's just really at the end of the day, people are so focused on themselves and not really, and not everyone. So I don't want it to come off where, I'm the savior of all the children. But when, again, you look at you having the means to do it, the time to do it, the capacity to do it, and why are you not doing it? Because
Absolutely.
it's fear.
That's right. And as you said earlier, and express the desire to do it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's only that fear holding people back. And man, I love this conversation. I love the energy and the spirit that you all have. And Deborah, you have you alluded to it, but you didn't go into detail. But talk about the book, why you wrote the book, and what can people experience when they read it.
Yeah, thank you. So initially, when I started the process to the book, it came from a place of, I'm not going to say pain, but maybe even confusion. There were so many insensitive comments that I received through the process where, and I'll give you a couple because just for the sake of humor. One time I was at my godmother's restaurant, Mother Josephine Wade, and I had Joshua with me as a child. And one of the ladies in there who I knew, she said, "Whose baby is that?" And I said, "Oh, this is my son, Joshua." She said, "Well, where did you get that baby from? I didn't see you carrying the baby. You carried that baby well." And so Mother Wade, who loves me to death, she oftentimes says, "No one could cut across me." She lashed out at the lady and said, "Well, she carried the baby in her ass." And so her whole point of that was to defend me because the insensitive comment that the woman made. Now, I had that countless times going to church where people just were like, "Well, whose baby is that?" And so I would have to find a way to, respond. And so I would say, there are several ways to skin a cat. So, but then I would go home and I would feel really bad, sometimes even to tears. And so I had to then remove that because that was really about me, right? And so what I then did was, how did I get here? And so beyond my journey with Joshua, like the process of how do you adopt a child, it became my journey to Joshua. How did I get here? And so it really had to do with even my own perception and level of love. And so when I think about my grandmother who had 8 children, grew up in the South, one step away from slavery, and just her perception of love and how that was transferred down from my mom, who was the oldest of her 4 daughters, to me. And so when I think about just the turnover of relationships and things of that sort, and so how did I get here is really what the book entails. It's more of a memoir to love. And each title is a love song, and the premise, again, is my journey to Joshua. But then I do provide tools for people on how to actually go through the process. I do recommend that you investigate these agencies that you want to get your foster care licensed with, because I actually changed my license twice. I had it with one agency and then moved it to another. And then giving just some humor too, right? When you think about the countless stories I experienced through the process, and then let's take it back. We grew up in a time where this was a really well-known conversation on television. You had Different Strokes, where you had Arnold and Willis were adopted by Mr. German. You had Punky Brewster. There were so many Webster. There were so many shows that dealt with this topic that I think we just it bottomed out. And now there's a resurgence of that, right? You watch This Is Us. We're crying every Tuesday watching, Randall and Jack and all those guys on that show. So The book really at its core is about love. It's finding love, how I found love through Joshua and through God's grace.
Yep, that's beautiful. Listen, we gotta take a quick break, but I tell you, man, when I was growing up, every time I got mad at my parents, I would say, man, I wish a rich white man would adopt me.
Right, we all had that wish.
Get on my nerves. But we take a quick break. Let's hold that thought. Hold that thought. We're gonna be right back. We're gonna be right back. If you take this quick break and hold that thought.
WIIFTBPM.
WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality Black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe Black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of Black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the divine mind. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the green side of things. It's your man, Sadiq.
And Cassiopeia.
And we need you to like,
comment,
and share
that thing
every Tuesday and Thursday from 1
to 3 p.m. on
What's in It for the Black People Media.
All right, we are back with more of the Toure Muhammad Show. We have Deborah Olivier Farmer and my co-host Linda Perez, aka Sissy, and we're talking about another aspect of Black Lives Matter, Black children, Black youth who are in various situations where their parents cannot be there for them, their biological parents, and how important it is for us to wrap our hands around the village. It is so incredible to hear both of you all's energy and spirit on this topic. And Deborah, your talk about the book is not out yet, but people can get the book or they can pre-order. What can they do now if they are interested in hearing about your journey?
Sure, thank you. Well, the first thing I request that you do is to follow us on all social media platforms at myjourneytojoshua.com. You'll find the book where you can actually purchase it on a pre-sale. The book will be released next month in a couple of weeks for National Foster Care Month. So we decided to hold off and release the book in that month. Mm-hmm. So at this particular time, you can pre-sale, you can get it on the website at myjourneytojoshua.com.
Man, beautiful. And talk a little bit, what you say?
Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. We appreciate you always for what you do, and I alluded to it again. I'm always alluding to stuff. I'm trying to do teasers. I'm trying to perfect that.
I love it.
But talk about your the red. Why you have that beautiful red hat on, and why you have the elephant behind you.
Well, you know what? It's so funny because it's like a deep red orange, actually.
Oh, okay.
So we're almost like going to Great America, matching. You know how you used to go to Great America and match back in the day. So it's orange. Actually, that is the primary color for the theme with my book and with all of the products. This is actually a T-shirt that I have. That's on our website that you can purchase as well. We have some other merchandise. I don't want this to be a commercial, but you can get a Joshua coffee mug. So when you wake up in the morning, you can have some coffee out of the Joshua coffee mug. But yeah, it's actually orange.
Go ahead. It's good. It's product placement. You're doing it perfectly. We need to see that whole T-shirt too. I see anyone deserving. What's the bottom part of the T-shirt?
Parenting through. Last word is empathy and devotion. And then the scripture is Joshua 1:9.
Wow, look at that. You know what? That's what I went to ask you about. Talk about how you named Joshua. Where did that name come from?
That's a very, very good question. So anyone that knows me knows that Jeremiah 29:11 is my absolute favorite scripture. So when the thought of bringing home a boy and I didn't name him Jeremiah, my friends were looking at me like, what? So Joshua actually came for me because the name in itself means a gift from God. And then also when you think about the fact that Joshua and Caleb in the Bible days were given the will to actually take us to the promised land. So my whole thought behind Joshua is that Joshua was going to get me to my promised land. And so it was a gift from God, and that's why I named him Joshua. The scripture that we stand on is Joshua 1:9, which is be strong and be of good courage, for God is with you. And so that's where the name came from.
It's beautiful.
Man, isn't that beautiful? So I know let's do a recap. Tell people the process. So you've encouraged, somebody's gotten to the point where they're ready to adopt. What's the first thing they need to do, and talk about that process from, steps 1, 2, and 3 at least.
Sure. So, and it's funny because I'm actually, every time I do an interview or post something on social media, I find someone in my DM, saying, hey, I'm considering adoption. And so I've been taking people sort of through the process, holding their hands. The first thing that I say, and this is just for each person, is just to make certain that you have capacity in your heart, because that's where it starts. It doesn't start with if you have a big enough home or if you have, a two-seater or an SUV. It's really from a place of what can you hold in your heart to actually receive this child. My request is that you do your research on the agency. As I stated before, I actually transferred my license because they initially were like sending me, all types of scenarios that I was not, open to. And I just felt they were a little negligent to my case file. And so research your agency. Once you've settled on an agency, then you have to actually go through the process of fingerprinting. They do reference checks, background checks, and things of that sort. I do recommend that you read all that you can. There are tons of resources on either online. There's several books out even prior to my book release on the actual adoption process and the stats around it, just so that you can wrap your mind around that, the process. Because again, I chose to do foster to adopt, where you have to actually go through foster care classes. And so that can take 6 months to a year, depending upon the agency. And so just the first 1, 2, 3 step, open up your heart, research your agency, and then also making certain that you prepare your family and your friends to this, because they're going to need to be your support system throughout this emotionally. Not so much, I wouldn't say financially, because to your point, Linda, if you choose the foster care route, the state that you're in, they provide you with resources to go through the process. And so that is the value add. And I say that to basically take away any barriers for people that might say, oh my goodness, I don't have any money to do this. If you do foster to adopt, you don't have to worry about money.
That's beautiful. And, that might be a good idea for some parents who have biological children, that they're worried that they're going to be there for them when they get old and weak. You better adopt you a few children. They may feel more grateful.
No, I mean, listen, right. We need to start with the basic conversations. Again, these are conversations that we need to have that we're not having in Black families. I will be even transparent to say, how did I get here? Even thinking that, oh, I can work and I can have children later. We're not told that, 35 and ticking is a real thing. And so going through fertility treatments, when I was going through that process, the clinics were filled with white girls. Mm-hmm. Like those parents are talking to their kids about fertility. Black women, right. The two that I did see in there, they had their heads down in shame. They didn't want to even acknowledge the fact that they were in there. But we need to have those conversations now.
That's right. That's right. And, for people who, I know family history and family legacy and bloodline, it can be important, but the reality is, as the scripture says, from one blood came all people. Our source is the creator, so we really are more connected than we think. And so I think it's incredibly immature to think that someone who didn't come from your immediate family can't be your family.
That's good. That's good. And that's actually beyond, I said, being self-absorbed. Then that's another word I'm going to add. Thank you for giving me that. Is the immaturity that comes with it. Is that you don't see that this could be possible because of your immaturity. That, right. There's one of the, Charles Jenkins actually did a testimonial for my book. And that's what he said, adopted by love, not by blood.
Beautiful. I love it. And mention also, I heard you comment on this, right? And you didn't mention this excuse that people have, but I want you to bust up this excuse too. I'm worried that, the child I get maybe, they might not be as smart as I am, or they might have some substance abuse, the parent, I don't know their parents. Talk about that aspect.
Yes, I think that again goes back to your ego. I mean, look at me. I wanted a girl. Why? So I could make her, put some ponytails in her head. Stop. So in that, it's all ego driven. When you think about the type of child that you will have, if you had a biological child, look at this. For people who have more than one child in their home, parents, okay? And you look and you say, well, where did this child come from? You may have one child that completely goes a totally different direction. There's no guarantees. And so you can't say because you foster or adopt a child that you're going to get a child that's going to be a mass murderer. Your biological child could chop up your whole family. I mean, let's just be clear. So I think
Menendez brothers.
Come on, right? And so the ego that we're so ego-centric. Just stop it, knock it off, and look at it from a place of love and providing a service to someone that needs it. And I will say this, oftentimes you think about helping someone else. You just said it, Linda. You wanted a girl, but you opened up yourself to your two nephews, are they, or cousins?
Three nephews.
Three. Well, hello, correction, three. And in that, but then you still got the girl, right? So you don't even realize what more you get when you give, right? And so if we could just stop being so self-absorbed, consumed with what will be, and how about look at the positive of what can be? And that's why I said I want to change change the narrative from the insensitive conversation to the optimistic conversation around the aspiration that can come from you providing a service to someone else and also getting that in return.
Absolutely. And guess what? You know, one thing too, my thing is he'll never give you what you can't handle or bear.
For
So
sure.
always remember that. If he's not going to give you that child, if you can't handle that child,
For
he's going to give you the one
sure.
that you can handle.
For
And
sure.
that's it. Even in my home daycare, like I'm selective on who I receive, but he gives me the ones I need. And we become family, but these children need that extra extended auntie, grandma, because they call me auntie or mama too. And they call my other worker, which is Miss Fuller, grandma. They need that. So they're missing that sometimes in their family. And it's just, I'm real selective. But to me, I feel God sends the children to my daycare that I need to be in encounter with, to teach and love, embrace. And they do come with challenges, but I'm able to break those challenges.
But you're a challenge yourself. I think, again, we look at what they come with. Oh, they come with all this trauma. You come with trauma too, right? So stop.
Absolutely.
You know, come on. We need to stop. I just really want us to knock it off.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
It does. Because we all got trauma. It's how we deal with it, but no one gave up on us. So let's not give up on our children and the next generation. And let's embrace that. And I love it. And I love my children. And I tell people, once you come in my Linda's Home Daycare, you become family, period. You can call me. I'm watching kids that I watched 10, 11 years ago. I'm watching their kids and their kids. Like, it's amazing how I'm going from generation to generation and their children is still coming back to me. I love it. That means I'm doing something, but I'm positive, but I'm embracing.
And let's be clear in that too. I mean, because like yourself, I mean, you know, my mentee, she says I'm Lackawanna Blues, right? You know, my home is usually a safe space and safe haven for anyone that needs, you know, some sort of shelter in the time of distress. And so in that, that's just who you are. And that's clearly just who I am. And I have 6 godchildren. So this is nothing that I'm just making adoption like I'm carrying around an extra handbag. No, this is who I am.
Yeah,
and so my point is not everyone has that capacity. So all I ask and challenge people to do is whatever capacity you have, do that. If it's not for you to bring a child into your home, okay, I don't want to browbeat you into that. But if you do have capacity to maybe donate to the Dave Thomas Foundation, what about the Willie Moore Jr. Foundation? Willie Moore Jr. is an advocate for adoption. He was adopted. So there's so many other ways that you can provide a service. And so we don't have the tragic situations like we just saw, you know, played out in the news with this young lady that was killed in this foster home. She was in a foster home, guys. Come on.
And it's sad, but I remember I was 17. I was visiting my grandmother in Roseland. No, I was 18. Visiting my grandmother in Roseland, and there was a semi-foster group home where they had a person live in. And it was sad because they had no control over the young men. But I witnessed that one of the little boys that was 8 years old get shot. And it's like, wow. And I'm like, he was put there for safety, but his life was taken because of lack of staffing or lack of the program. And so if we can even get the kids in the smallest situation, home environments, to foster care, to adoption, that's even better. Because sometimes some bigger groups can cause like conflictions, or it's not well supervised. And I witnessed that. So when I saw that, it made me connect when I saw that at 18 for the little boy that was 8 years old, get his life taken just because there was no supervision. They shouldn't even been out at midnight, but they're running wild. So again, it comes back to the programs that are in place and fighting for our children, even making sure that these programs, even now you got Maryville case of sexual assault by father. These cases are severe, but it's like we as people need to take our children in and not put them in these bigger environments where they can get hurt or sexual abuse or become victims even more.
Yeah, those the foster group homes can be a challenge. I don't know about the situation in Ohio, but I recall in high school there was a girls' foster group home in my neighborhood, and that was the magnet for all the boys, and it was all the the boys that didn't have no good intention for none of the girls in that home, right? So they were just attracted to it and trying to figure out any kind of way to get them girls out of that house. And as soon as they went to go to work or go to school, they was on them like vultures.
Oh, that's terrible.
I remember that. And some of them were too old to be going to a group home looking for a girl.
Yeah, because that's one of my visions too. And I know with DCFS, especially coming, because I foster care is something I want to do because I want to give back, but I want to embrace and take in children to make a difference, to make a great impact. Some people do it for the money, and that's your business, but you have to have a passion, you have to have a heart. And to me, he has to speak to you to do this journey because it's a big, it's a commitment. And it's all around the clock, 24 hours. But I wanted to
It's not a Gucci bag. It's not fashionable, okay?
And I wanted to create like a group home, foster care home. But I know you have to have a certain amount of money. I think it's 150, 250,000 to even create one. And I was like, damn, well, I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna start here, the daycare, the business, and I'm gonna get there. But I'm going to sow the seed where I can make a difference, because even the things that I've saw in those type of group homes or foster care group homes, there are lack of, or the program lacks so many things for our youth, especially when it comes to our culture. It's a lack of. And so there's where I want to tap into and make a difference from the programs that I did see out there. From the Jewish community, you got Jewish, Children Jewish, you got Hall House, you got, those different programs. But our children end up lacking, or I had parents that came through those programs, and by the time they left at 21, some were homeless. Some didn't have nowhere to go. Here go Linda, trying to help or mentor these young girls. But I want to make a difference when they do leave these programs. They have something. They have a saving account. They understand financial literacy. They understand basic needs on how to survive that sometimes I think these programs don't give our children. And then it's the mentor and partnering them up with a buddy system, so they can make it out here and not be homeless and not lose their children or repeating the cycle with their children and losing them. Because I see that now happening where it's repeating the cycle. And it's like, what can we do to break these cycles or help them to learn that they can break these cycles?
Well, I mean, it speaks to what Toure said. It's generational. A lot of it is just the bloodline. We want to say the blood curse. We can go as far as and go there. I mean, it's all connected.
It's connected. Yep. So, but I have to tune out, you guys. It's 12:22. My restaurant opened at 12. So let me do a little bit of prepping before we get slammed with orders.
I need to place the order. I need to place the order. No, I'm just messing with you.
I was about to say
I will be coming later on. We appreciate you, Linda. Thank you for being a part of the show. And
nice
we'll talk to you later.
I love this conversation. I'm passionate about this. So this was a great, I'm glad I was able to meet you as well. Hopefully
you as well. Thank you. And good luck with those tacos, girl. I'm hungry.
All right.
All right. So, Sister Deborah, we appreciate you as always for coming on the show. If you want to give a closing statement, let folks know. If you want to hang out for a minute, you can do that. I'm going to talk about a few news items that are in the news today, and then we're going to close out this show at 1:00.
No, I mean, I just want to just keep it sweet and simple and just thank you for this opportunity. I'm just very grateful to be able to talk about adoption, talk about foster care. I do encourage you to follow us on all social media platforms as well. That's the shameless plug. And then also to go to our website at myjourneytojoshua.com. Thanks
Beautiful.
for this opportunity.
Yep, and I put your link in the comment section so
Thank you.
People can go right to it in the comment section and get the book, pre-order it, get it when it comes out. Make sure that you support this incredible story and this mission and this ministry that you have, and we appreciate you and can wish you continued success both in your personal life and in your professional life.
Thanks so much. Take care.
All right. Peace. All right, brothers and sisters. So that was our sister with some great information, and we appreciate her for always Like I say, she is a consistent. Some of the great guests I kind of have on the show, she is the reason for it. And man, so we're gonna keep rolling. We got about 30 minutes to keep the show rolling for a minute, and we flying solo today, baby. For the rest of the show, Sister Starla couldn't get on today. She had a prior commitment, but we do have some final call stories to talk about. And we encourage you all to come on in the chat in the comments section and give us some comments if you have any comments. But the first thing I want to talk about that I think is absolutely incredible and amazing and rather scary is the Amazon palm readers coming to Whole Foods checkouts possibly sometime soon near you. What's going on is that Amazon has released a program, and they've been doing it in some of their stores already, the Amazon to goes. But you can actually walk in and just have a device scan the bottom of your hand or the palm of your hand and be able to pay for your foods. It's called contactless biometric scanning. And the writer of the story in CNET is creeping into new Seattle stores over the next few months. And it's funny he used the word creeping because that is kind of creepy to me. I don't know if I'm comfortable and ready for anybody to be scanning my palm. I mean, we're already doing facial recognition on our phone, and guaranteed it can be done across platforms as well. You might get caught on a security camera walking past a grocery store, and they be able to identify who you are with all this facial scanning. But now your palm biometric scanning. It's too much going on now. It's too much going on for me to be comfortable with that. So I don't know what you all think about that, but I am not ready for that. So to sign up for the payment option, you can hover your hand over the device's scanner, and it gives the machine your credit card information, which Amazon then links to your biometric data. And once you've signed up, so you scan the device, you give them your credit card information, and then after you've signed up, you can pay at any Amazon One kiosk by allowing the machine to scan your palm. The company said thousands of people have already signed up for this system. See, I watch too many movies, so I'm already thinking somebody want to steal my money or buy food, they're going to chop off my hand and be walking in there with my hand tied, glued to their shirt. I'm not doing it. You already got, what was that movie where they took somebody's eyeball and they used that eyeball to scan something? Was that, I think that was with, what's that dude's name? Tom Cruise. Was that Tom Cruise? He scanned the eyeball. But anyway, I'm not doing that. I'm not ready for it to be biometrically scanned to pay for anything. I put my hand over it and have it put my credit card information and hop over the screen, hop over the gate and make a mad dash. No, I wouldn't do that. But I'm not doing that. So that's one thing that caught my attention. And we want to know, man, what you think about that. Give us a comment in the comment section if you are willing to have your hand scanned. Now, something else, brothers and sisters, that you need to be paying attention to when you go to the stores. This is serious now. The price of baby and feminine care products is going to be increasing in September. Dana said years ago, I said we'd be paying with our wrist one day. Yeah, you're right. You pretty much at the wrist. When you're doing that scan of your palm, you were a prophet. Dana the prophet. Yeah, you predicted that one. You were right on. You were spot on. The palm and the wrist are right there next to each other. So I guess your palm has as much data in there as your fingertips. So I guess, I don't know if they're biometric. I don't even know what that means. It's got to be taking your skin, the sample of your skin uniqueness in your palm. You know how people read palms. So I guess everyone's palm is unique just as your fingertips are unique. Right. So, but anyway, so Procter and Gamble will raise the prices in it. There's a pretty good sampling of products that come from Procter and Gamble. They are the consumer giant, and they're saying that they will raise prices on household goods, including baby care, feminine care, and adult incontinence products starting in September. They're joining a group of companies that are charging more for brand name products to offset the rising commodity costs. So we're going to talk about this in a little bit and what you should be ready for to make sure if you have a tight budget, that you may have to do some alterations. But we're going to be right back with more of the Toure Muhammad Show after this quick break.
WIFTVPM. The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
Sissy's Taco Bar Pop-Up is back with more hours and more days. Check them out at their new pop-up location at The Woodlawn, located 1200 East 79th Street. Sissy's Taco Bar offers authentic street tacos infused with international soul. Now every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at The Woodlawn from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. New vegan tacos have been added to the menu too. Visit sissytacobar.com for more info.
If I gave you my love, I tell you what I do. I'd expect a whole lot of love out of you. You got to treat me good, and I'll be good to you. There's a whole lot of things you and I could do, baby. Beautiful when you get right down to it, yeah. You're beautiful, and I wouldn't change one thing about you, yeah. Oh, 'cause you're beautiful. I don't mind telling the world about you, yeah. You're beautiful. And what about the way you love me? And the way you squeeze me.
All right. We are back. The Toure Muhammad Show is back. We're flying the plane solo And we're gonna be coming in real smooth. Oh, the train. I can't switch my analogies up midstream. So we're gonna be flying the train. We're gonna be rolling down the tracks for just a few more minutes here. But brothers and sisters, we can have some great updates and some great news that we think you can use. That you should be aware of. That these should be part of the discussions. And it's also an underlying principle here of how important it is for us to start doing something for ourselves, because here it is, this major company. They produce the baby brands, Loves and Pampers. They fall under Procter & Gamble. And then you also have the feminine care products, Always and Tampax. They are going to be increasing their prices, right? The chief operating officer said Tuesday that Procter & Gamble is also assessing the impact of rising commodity costs for other product lines as well. Shares of Procter & Gamble fell to 1.8% in pre-market trading on Tuesday. Now, they earned $18.1 billion in revenue in the first quarter, and that's slightly above what they expected. So if the big companies are doing this, and who knows what their profit margin is, we know it's a decent profit margin. But be aware, brothers and sisters, that our small businesses, our black-owned businesses may have to increase some prices too, not on these products unless their business is tied to that. But just in general, there are some increased prices across the board. And we've seen it a little bit in the grocery stores and for certain products. So we want y'all to stay committed to supporting black-owned businesses and don't get caught up. Now, if it's just ridiculously high, now I'm not going to tell you to do that. If the price of toilet paper is increasing too. Yes, ma'am, Star Williams, the price of toilet paper, that's my mama, y'all, is increasing as well. So those are some of the key things that you need to survive, of course. And so we need to put some money from somewhere else to make sure you got enough for that toilet paper, depending upon how much of the increase it is. But if there's no toilet paper, it'll be a brown day in Black America. So this other situation here, so that's that one. Be on the lookout. And if you know of any black-owned toilet paper companies, we do know of one or two here in the Chicagoland. Well, that service the Chicagoland area. Make sure that you go. And make sure you go, of course, if you're looking for a restaurant, you know where to go. And if you're looking for some black-owned products, go to theblackmall.com and check them out. Here's something else that happened in the news. This is in the Final Call newspaper that I thought was very critical. And something that we all are watching here in Chicago, and Chicago has been a very active participant in the reparations movement. Of course, man, giving recognition to our ancestor, Dr. Conrad Worrell, who has been a big part of speaking out and promoting, understanding, and advocating for bill passes hurdle in the House, but still faces an uphill road. The climate that we're in today, with so many businesses, major corporations recognizing and acknowledging the importance to give back and support black-owned businesses, the climate in the country where you have more, I think, political will to at least have the conversation. People are trying to push it right now. I don't share that optimism. I think that as long as we've been here and we haven't gotten reparations yet, that I'll be very surprised that if it happens, but there is some jubilation, and it swept over several circles of black activists on April 14th when two congressional committees advanced legislation for votes on the House floor when they have been literally campaigning for decades. First, the House Oversight Committee marked up H.R. 51, the Washington, D.C. Admission Act, which would make the national capital city a state. And then hours later, the House Judicial Committee similarly reported H.R. 40 to the full House, a bill to establish a commission to study the effects of enslavement of black people and consider proposals for reparations. Now, that part should happen real fast because you have organizations who have the studies and have the information on the effects of enslavement of black people, and they have some recommendations. So the judiciary vote was a major victory for advocates of reparative justice who have labored since 1989, when Representative John Conyers out of Michigan, Detroit, first introduced the measure to win support for redressing the lingering effects of the enslavement of black people in this country. Randy Spann, peace. We see you, brother. Democrats on the committee advanced the legislation over the objection of all the committee's Republicans by a vote of 25-17. So that push, which we've been trying in this country to get since it was promised to us right after the Emancipation Proclamation, was that we would get 40 acres and a mule. That was part of the reparations discussion then, and it's being pushed right now. So we hope and pray that those that are advocating for it continue to receive these victories as it continues to move forward. And we appreciate Rep. Sheila Johnson Lee, who is now the lead sponsor of that bill. She took the reins from John Conyers and to keep the bill going. And our people here, you know, we have some people here who've been a big part of the movement. You have NCOBRA, and you have the National African American Reparations Commission that is convened by Ron Daniels. And then, of course, NCOBRA has some affiliates here. And shout out to Cam Howard, who has always been an advocate for reparations. And if you all don't know, Danny Glover, the actor Danny Glover, has been a big part of that push as well. So we appreciate him and them and the continued fight for reparations. And like the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad stated, the idea of reparations, right, it gives, when we talk about what it looks like, it gives you an idea of what it would look like and what we should be demanding of this government, and then also what we should be doing for ourselves, right? So, but if this country is serious about reparations, then you can find the demand on the back page of the Final Call newspaper, the second to the back page, page 39, what the Muslims want. And many of the activists who have talked about reparations have identified and talked about that point in message in this publication here, the Final Call newspaper, where on the back page in the Muslim program, it talks about what reparations would look like. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad says that we want our people in America whose parents or grandparents were descendants from slaves to be allowed to establish a separate state or territory of their own, either on this continent or elsewhere. We believe that our former slave masters are obligated to provide such land, that the land area must be fertile and minerally rich. We believe that our former slave masters are obligated to maintain and supply our needs in this separate territory for the next 20 to 25 years until we are able to produce and supply our own needs. So that's kind of like that. I mean, that is what reparations would look like, our own country. Since we already are a nation within a nation, since we already have two Americas, separate and unequal, then we should take our separate selves and build communities where we can be self-sufficient. That was the beauty of Black Wall Street, and that's why it was a threat, and that's why it was bombed. The first bombing in America was bombing black people being independent and self-sufficient. So I know that's why some people may be afraid to be independent and self-sufficient, because we fear the repercussions of that, and we are hoping that maybe if we stay quiet and stay at home with massa, that they'll try one day to treat us right. But here it is, we couldn't even celebrate George Floyd, and we have another incident of a poor young girl being fatally killed by a police officer. She was wielding a knife. She have a taser. I mean, a warning shot in the air. Just announcing your presence may have settled her. But you went for the kill blow on a 15-year-old girl. So again, they were just finishing the prayer. Reverend Al Sharpton and Reverend Jackson and Attorney Clump they were just ending the prayer, celebrating the victory of George Floyd's killer. And now we have another incident and the countless other incidents that we have in our community of police officers wrongfully killing a so-called citizen of this country. So, but now let's go to another story that I think is worth talking about today. This is a final call story. I don't have my friend, Sister Toure Muhammad, with us today, but we still are going to go over a few final call stories today. This one, that previous story was written by Brother Toure Muhammad, and then we have one here from Sister Anissa, buying, restoring our neighborhoods for ourselves. And this gets me really excited, because this is something that I am really focused on. This is one of the, if I give you a little insight, this is one of the reasons why I am studying and continue to study and have put so much time and effort and energy into getting my real estate license and learning this real estate game. We've already closed. We have one family we got into a home. We're working on a couple of other families to get them into a home. We are so excited. Peace, Brother Boosie. We see you, brother. We're so excited about getting helping some people sell their home. So, but the big picture, right? Of course, I got to get out here and hustle and make these connections and learn and understand some of the ebb and flows of real estate, because I want to be able to, I want to be like a fullback, right? Like a fullback who is gonna open up some holes for the running back to get through. I want to put a few people on their back that's trying to get to my running back, man, and knock them down. I want to be like just opening up a hole for them. I'm gonna go old school like Matt Suey. My people don't remember Matt Suey, man. Just open up those holes for Walter Payton. So, but anyway, we want to do that in this real estate game. And so you have this is a situation out of Memphis. So Dr. Carnita Atwater, let me talk about this story real quick. She has been battling the city of Memphis over the city's comprehensive growth plan. Only she accuses the city of leaving New Chicago, a predominantly black neighborhood in North Memphis, out of the plan. Dr. Atwater is the executive director of New Chicago Community Partnership Revitalization, CDC, and she, along with others across the country, is working to rebuild the wasted cities where black people live. See, how many of us know? Boosie say, now is the time to buy. I'm in real estate. Prices are going to go up. There is no inventory. Exactly, brother. Inventory is extremely low right now. And people that are on the fence, listen, if you've already gotten, you have the means, you've gotten your pre-approval, and you are ready to purchase, man, don't hesitate. Get out there, look at the houses. If you got to spend a day or two, 2 or 3 days, and look at 10, 15, 20 places, 30 places for you to find what you want. Time is of the essence because not only, like Boosie is saying, the inventory is low, but also there's no foresight, there's no forecast that it's going to change, right? Because what's happening is more people want to move right now than people want to sell right now. More people want to buy than people want to sell. So everyone is, a lot of people are comfortable where they are. They're uncertain. They maybe not be too sure about what the future holds, so they're holding on. So if you can get in and buy right now, even the flippers and renovators are talking about there's not that much out there. So now is the time. So, but listen, every city has a plan for continued growth, continued development, continued renovations, and all of that. Certain areas are identified, and there's money and resources put into it. We see some of it through what we call TIF and what you call the neighborhood opportunity funds and different things like that. But what we don't often do is make sure we know what the city's entire plan is, especially for the South and the West Side, and to see how we can make sure, right, that we keep our communities stable, that we keep our areas, really, man, for a better way to say it, with the right mix of people in the community. If we want to end some of the high levels of crime and poverty, then we need to make sure that people who are not as well off are not isolated by themselves, but that there can be a mixture so that people can be inspired and motivated by each other. So there's ways that there can be not gentrification, but good mix in our community where those that are stronger can be the base and the support for those that are not. Every other community has it where you have safeguards in place, right? In some areas in our communities, there are no safeguards because everybody who has some means to help keep it safe are not there, right? So, but man, we see what Boosie is dropping it. So, and don't think that having credit issues can prevent you from purchasing. Absolutely right, Boosie. I agree with you. Your credit can be fixed in 3 to 6 months, he says, and ready to buy. Agreed 100%. And sometimes our credit is not as bad as we think, and it doesn't take that much to make it better. So we want to make sure, man, that we are engaging professionals and people that know so that they can give you the course that you need, right? But you need to have a plan. Too many of us are in a holding pattern, not knowing what our options are, not knowing what is and is not possible, and not seeking that information so that we can put together a blueprint. Just like every business needs a plan, every person, every family needs a plan. You need a plan of operation. You need some goals, some things you're striving for, and you need to be able to have a clear way of knowing the steps it's going to take to get you to your goal. So we are losing, Boosie says, we are losing in the wealth gap due to our inability to acquire real estate. Absolutely right. And don't sell grandma's house. So, man, that's a beautiful point. So, right. So instead of selling grandma's house, use the equity from grandma's house and use that to purchase a rental property or some additional property, right? Even see if you can get you a 2-flat or a 3-flat and rent it out. If you have a home, before you sell that home, look at making you an investment, right? You may have money. Of course, you got money in your 401k and things like that, but maybe you can pull some and invest in that secondary property. You might be able to do a 1031 exchange and use that to be able to do what you need to do. But it's absolutely necessary and vital that you get that information that you need, and that you counsel with people. So I see Boosie's got experience. Of course, even though I'm new to the game in terms of being in the field, man, I got some cold people that I work with. Everything from loan officers that have been doing it 20, 30 years. Everything from your people who can fix your credit, tell you what you need to do. Everything from people who have the experience in construction. Maybe you want to get something that is not fully built out, but needs some renovations, and you need somebody to come in there and give you an estimate of what it's going to look like. Then that's what you need to do. And so here we are, brothers and sisters, at the end of the show. We appreciate you all for tuning in as we pull the train back into the station. We pray that you are going to have a wonderful day, that you remain strong and steadfast, and we'll see you next Thursday on another episode of the Toure Muhammad Show. We're going to be talking about fitness and fun in the next show, and we're going to have our brother. Hopefully, we're going to have a fitness trainer. We may have a martial arts instructor. We're going to do a few things so that we can make sure that, man, you all get that health right. And some of you all that may need to focus on, hey, if you need to move out or move around in the evening time and you worried about your safety, then let's teach you a few things so that you can, hopefully be able to take care of yourself. So with that, we out of here, brothers and sisters. Thank you all, and we'll talk to you soon. Never forget that as long as I got a bowl of bean soup, you've got half. Peace.
WIIFTBPM.